episode, Filoni. I'll write that shit.
Yeah. I think a Star Wars What If would be great. Oh, and it's 4 o'clock. So. Hey everybody, welcome to You'll Probably Agree, and well, it's been a very, very long wait for me, personally, for the book of Boba Fett, and I certainly have some high-stakes thoughts on it, but before I even get to that, John Davies from Cinema Obscura, the world-renowned Cinema Obscura, I guess we could call it. I'd like to know what you thought of it before I give my hot takes.
Oh, hello there. I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. There are some things I didn't love about it, some things that I really loved about it, and you said the same thing. So,
yeah.
Oh man, yeah, it was fun. It's a good first chapter to the book of Boba Fett, so I'm pretty excited about what's coming next, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, I trust the writing team, and I trust everything that's going on with Star Wars on Disney, which is, you know, it's insane for me to say that sentence out loud, but I do. I trust Disney. I trust Star Wars. I trust the Filoni brothers, Filoni and Phage, the Phage brothers.
Exactly. Well, I trust the writing department, I think, more than I trust or I should say the television department, more than I trust the, let's say then the film department, because the film department has shown time and time again that they didn't know what they were doing. For maybe Rogue One.
Hopefully those are over. Hopefully they're done.
Yeah. But I think like now they're starting to learn a little bit. I thought so far with this first episode, was it everything I was hoping for? No. Was it pretty good? I think objectively as a story, if you didn't know about Boba Fett or anything like that, I think this is kind of an interesting story for someone to kind of pick up on and try to figure out who this Boba Fett guy is and why they're writing a book on him. And well, one thing we can say already is that the title of the show itself, The Book of Boba Fett, makes a lot more sense when you get through the first few minutes or so. You get, oh, this is this guy's life, and it's flashing before his eyes as he continually rests in a Bacta tank, mending the wounds of the sarlac pit encounter that, you know, sort of left some extreme, like, you know, he should have been dead. You know, Boba Fett was a guy who should have been dead, who was alive in the very end, and I think overall his story is one that holds my interest. I'd like to, if I didn't know anything about him, I'd like to know a little more about him, and as someone who does know about him, I'd like to kind of get all the little puzzle pieces between the flashbacks and the present put together to see where the story's going to go and what happened to Boba Fett. Because in this episode so far, I can give a brief synopsis, which is we find out a very brief synopsis. The first episode of the book of Boba Fett is about, on one hand, what happened to Boba Fett between Return of the Jedi and The Mandalorian. And then it's also about Boba Fett building a new criminal empire by basically seizing Jabba's palace like he did in the Mandalorian, and now all those places being put together. But yeah, overall, I guess two thoughts before I say overall again. Two things that did bother me a little bit was, for this being Boba Fett's grand return, his big climactic badass scene at the end of this episode was really kind of anticlimactic for me. I'm like, I didn't wait 38 years to see Boba Fett strangle a CGI like little dinosaur from behind like he's Princess Leia.
It was Goro. It was Goro from Mortal Kombat. You didn't recognize him?
Yeah, it was like It was like a gigantic Goro. But it's like the way he took it down wasn't even like that amazing. Like he ran from behind it and choked it. You know, like that.
Like tying the two hands together, that was a cool little move, but that just got kicked 50 yards.
Yeah, and then he just got kicked right away. And his life was saved because one of the Jawas, or I'm sorry, the little sand person kid, like stabbed him in the foot.
Yeah. Like, is that like, is Tatooine just like out to kill this guy? Like, is that what's happening?
Pretty
Like, he
much.
got out of the sarlac pit, right, and then he has this first encounter that we see in his flashback, which is kind of odd that they're using the Bacta tank as a framing device for the flashbacks.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good move, but it's like, really, dude, you get your ass kicked for 5 minutes on the street, you got to go recharge. Like, why didn't they just attack him on his way back?
Yeah.
You know, once like, is that going to be just like something that's going to that troubles me for the rest of the show? It's like, what's the say to this dude? Like, how is he gonna?
That's what I'm.
Survive? You know, just having to go back into the. It was literally a 5-minute fight. Yes, he disintegrated somebody with his rocket, his wrist rocket, and that was badass. But,
Yeah.
like, every fight that he gets, you know, every little jab that he gets, he's, you know, throwing me back in the back of the tank. It's like, oh, really, you guys? Okay.
Yeah, because I thought his
but that worries me a little bit.
That's the thing. This guy's supposed to be a legend, and in the Mandalorian, he took down a bunch of stormtroopers with complete ease because they're stormtroopers are idiots. You know, and that was
3
great.
days before what we're seeing right here.
I thought, you know, this show's
Not
being
literally
directed
3
by
days,
Robert Rodriguez. We're gonna get more cool shit. And what do I see? I see Boba Fett get defeated by a couple of guys with fucking zap sticks. Like, what is this gonna be him the whole time? Is Boba Fett? I thought Boba Fett's how is anyone gonna think this character's cool if he's getting his ass handed to him so easily? And then he's like, oh, take me the Bacta tank. Meh. Like, no. Is Boba Fett going to fully heal from his wounds, and then you're just going to see him completely tear ass in a Daredevil-esque single-take camera hallway fight scene? That's what I want to see.
Are you
You're the
ready for my
Desperado
prediction
guy.
on that?
What are you doing, Robert?
That is going to happen. And you know who's going to heal him? Grogu.
God, don't. No. This story's over. Leave Grogu alone.
No, it's not. No, it's not over.
Oh man, I hope not. I just want to see Boba Fett like be the badass that we all hoped he is. That if you read the expanded universe, they definitely plucked some plot elements from this. For one thing, Boba Fett actually he develops a cancer from surviving the Sarlacc. Like something inside of it is growing inside of him, and he basically has to find the cure. So maybe that's where the plot will go, and maybe then you'll see him as a true legend that he is. Because it was weird. Like, Boba Fett gets his ass. I get why he got his ass kicked originally. You know, he just crawled out of the Sarlacc. His skin is burned up. He's hurting. Makes sense. But then, like, when he's okay now, and then he's just getting his ass handed to him when he just got, you know, when he's been out of there for a while now, and he got his armor back, and he's in his armor, and he still gets his ass kicked. I'm just like, oh no, they're not going to do this, are they?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty much my biggest complaint. But I mean, for things I liked about it, if I had to go through my notes here, because I'm an idiot and I have to take notes. I mean, we finally get to see what happens in the Sarlacc pit.
That was fun. I'm hoping we're going to get a little bit more of that, because it's not just the flamethrower that gets him out of there.
And it was very brief.
He uses all of the artillery that he has on him to get out of that thing, and I hope we get to see that.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've heard or read or whatever. It has gotten into my head at some point.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for, too, is that there's more to him escaping. I'm guessing, if I were to guess, and usually when I guess something, I'm wrong. But
that's
what I'm going to guess is that
that's it.
they'll flash back to the Sarlacc again and again throughout the series. You know, you'll see a little more of how he got out each time. Which, I mean, I'm okay with. If this is all we got of him crawling out of the Sarlacc, like, am I thrilled with it? Like, I'll say I like the way he got out. I mean, basically what he did was he punches a hole inside of it and then burns it. And then his hand punches up from the sand and then he crawls out of there, dripping full of the sarlac saliva or whatever it is that when he's inside of his guts. Which, by the way, very kind of graphic scene for Star Wars. I mean, then again, you have Anakin who killed kids before and got burned alive and all that. But, I mean, overall, you're not inside the belly of a beast like that, and it's not as gross as it was. Like, Robert Rodriguez, I could tell that's like that from that moment that was a Robert Rodriguez sort of show because it's just so
gross.
Disgusting. Like it should be.
You got a dead melting stormtrooper right next to him.
And even melting. Grosser than that, because I live in COVID times, is like when he takes out his breathing tube. I don't know if stormtroopers have this, but yeah, I guess they have like a breathing tube inside. He just took it from his mask, and like all the pus and saliva was just spraying out of it, and then like Boba put it in his mouth. And I'm like, oh god, now he's got like super COVID. That's probably what gives him the sarlac cancer, but whatever. But I mean, I just...
This is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, so they have other concerns.
Yeah. and in the Star Wars galaxy, I think they could get over COVID. Like, they would have ways to fight it. They'd have just Bacta heals everything, I think. I just don't know how long it takes them to heal. Because it seems like Boba Fett's scars eventually kind of go away over time. Like, he had that scarring in The Mandalorian when he first encounters Mando. And he still has that... But he doesn't have the scarring here at all, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's kind of like all gone, but I think he still is hurt and battle damaged from it. It's just that he hasn't fought anyone beyond, like, those weak-ass stormtroopers, maybe? Yeah. I don't know. But, I don't know. But over other, like, high-take scenes that I took from it, I enjoyed Fennec Shand. She had a nice little parkour sequence where she was fighting the, we don't know who these guys are yet, these ninja assassins with, they look like the electrical sort of rods that the droids had in the Clone Wars, like the taller ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to probably find out who they are, judging by the trailers. That one guy who says, I heard you sit at the throne of your former employer, I'm going to guess that's the guy who runs that group of people. I'm wondering where that'll go, and I did like Tamara Morrison's performance. I was a little concerned when I saw the trailers that he was going to say every single line like he was literally reading from the script.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes he's like, I am Boba Fett.
He's got a gruff nature for most of it, but yeah, for this one, he like gives the character some depth, which is awesome.
Yeah, he actually gives
it.
He's
like smiles. He's like jokey with Fennec a little bit. It's I don't know. After 40 years of wondering about this dude, it's nice to see a character fleshed out. I mean, he had 4 lines of dialogue across 2 movies. This was like less than 7 minutes of screen time, and we've all had the question, like, who is this dude? Like, yeah. who is, like, what's so important about him? Like, why does he get his own show? Well, right. we're gonna see why, and we're gonna see a whole lot more whys and whats from the Star Wars universe, and I'm here for it, man. I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, that's the nice thing about having a show. You can tell the story in more than just a limited 2-hour time frame. You can take your time with it, and this show is certainly at a very short length, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, Robert Rodriguez usually cuts to the chase, and he doesn't goof around. I mean, he does have longer films, but he doesn't stretch out bits of the story that don't need to be. Jesus God, this Beskar armor is useless in this game.
It's more bang for your buck with the TV show, at least when Star Wars is concerned.
Yeah.
You just get so much more content, and they do have like a 27 or 28 minute window, so they're not going to mess around and do a bunch of dumb stuff that they can do in a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, or a cartoon show.
Nice, actually.
Yeah, where the cartoon shows, there's so many filler episodes.
You
Clone
started.
Wars and
Oh my
Rebels.
God, the Bad Batch was so horrible after the first episode, but that's where I'm gonna leave it.
Oh yeah. Oh god. I hope this show isn't another Bad Batch. That would be.
No, this one.
It's not. I mean, it's only like what 6 episodes, and Rodriguez is directing the first 3, and I know Bryce Dallas Howard and Favreau and Filoni are probably attached for the others.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we know that there's going to be some good stuff. I just want to see Boba Fett. Like, one thing that this show really kind of highlighted that I haven't really seen before is like Boba Fett would always carry personal vendettas and grievances against people, yet he was respectable as a person and followed a sort of Mandalorian code. You know,
Well, that's just like something that is in the mythos that like I think we just made that up. Like we don't know. Mm-hmm. Like was he mad at Han Solo for something in the past? Like we have no idea. Like we made up so many backstory like little tidbits about this dude. And it's like finally, 40 years later, we're gonna get some of those answers, man. Which is
yeah. Well, if those rumors are true, we'll get a
really
CGI de-aged Harrison Ford.
I don't know. That's goofy to me, but whatever.
Yeah.
Let them do what they're gonna do. Robert Downey Jr. looks pretty good in what is that? Like Disney did that to him.
Oh, the
I
de-aging?
forget which. Yeah.
No, that one was bad in Civil War.
One of them. Yeah. Was that Civil War? But I mean, the technology looked good.
No, but it got better after that.
If they can do that on a small, if they could do that on a small screen, and we won't be able to be like, oh, I can see a couple of pixels. Oh, yeah, nice job. There's a young Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Han Solo and Chewie show up. I want to see the rest of the bounty hunters show up, especially Dengar. Like, oh my God, how many other Star Wars people are with me on the Dengar thing? Call Mike, tell him we need some Dengar situation. Everybody else, cool, whatever, but we need to flesh that story out, man. He's important, and there's like a 3-way weird ass story between Dengar, Boba Fett, and Han Solo that I'm barely aware of, but if they can focus on that for an episode or 10 minutes in this show, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, the Dengar, I think he, in the expanded universe, didn't he help rescue Boba from the pit?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't remember that. It could be. I just don't remember it.
Yeah. So, like, they're going to pluck from it, but I'm going to guess at one point Boba will probably go to, like, the Bounty Hunter Guild and be like, hey, I tried running things at Tatooine. I'm having a little bit of trouble. Can you guys give me a hand? Sort of thing.
Step 1 is making peace in his neighborhood, basically.
Which is what he's doing now. Yeah.
Collecting tribute and just like, I'm the presence here. Step 2 is Bounty Hunter Guild. And hopefully we can get to that shortly, and that's not like, the last 2 minutes of episode 6 or the final episode or whatever. It's like, oh shit, Bosk shows up. Cool. The next season's going to be great. Oh my God, you guys. You can go ahead and, just shove Boba Fett down our throats for the first couple episodes. It's fine. Go nuts. Doesn't have to be. And one thing that I was thinking about, something that you talked about yesterday was the locations. It's like, man, I hope we're not stuck on Tatooine the whole time. It's like, yep, he's on Tatooine, and guess where his flashbacks are going? Oh my God, Tatooine for the most part.
Which none of that surprises
for a couple
me.
seconds, and a young Boba holding Jango's helmet, which is awesome to see that.
Oh, I love that.
Any of the Clone Wars clips that we're going to see, and it's like, oh, cool. Yeah, that's, ooh, man, the Clone Wars. That's for the prequels, not the Clone Wars. My bad. That's. Do I want to go back and watch them? No, I can just watch a couple of 5 to 10 second clips in the Mandalorian and the Boba Fett show and the and the Obi-Wan show. It's like, cool. I don't need to watch 9 hours of semi-okay Star Wars anymore. Good.
Yeah. Well,
Tiny
one thing that gives me a little bit of hope is when we first see Boba Fett in this episode and he's in the Bacta tank, we flash back to Camino for a brief moment. and then we flash back to that reverse angle of young Boba Fett holding the helmet of his decapitated father by the hands of Mace Windu, which if I hope that, and this probably won't happen, but I would love to see for like the end stinger for this season at least,
Purple
to be
lightsaber.
like, they're looking at a picture, Fennec's like, who's that? And Boba looks at him and he goes, that's the man who killed my father. And it's like a picture of, like an older Mace Windu who survived, the window push.
And like speaking of the grudge thing, like he's made this current Boba Fett has made no mention of any kind of grudge against the Jedi. And he knows Skywalker's out there, right? And
he left right when he left.
He's not like, yeah, but he's like, he's aware that he's out there, so he's like he's not gonna like hunt down a Jedi. He's not stupid.
Yeah, and he also knows
he's gonna let that one go. It's like, oh, that was kind of an accident.
Exactly, that wasn't really Luke's fault. Luke didn't even do anything. He put a rope around Luke and Luke cut the rope. Han hit him by accident with a fucking stick.
It was mostly an accident. That was the Force. But anyway.
Which the Book of Boba Fett does show that Boba Fett is not one who's unprone to accidents, whether it be someone hitting him with a cattle prod. Holy shit, I just killed an enormous dinosaur. Or it's like just him getting owned by even the Sand People when he has to prove his worthiness. That one guy just beats him single-handedly almost, humiliating him in a way. But of course later Boba proves himself by taking down the Goro creature.
Speaking of that scene, the Tusken weapon that Raider beats him with, I guarantee you he ends up giving to Boba Fett, and that's the weapon that he kicks the shit out of 12 stormtroopers with the first time you see him on Typhon.
Yeah, that
I guarantee you it's the exact same weapon.
Except that one was a sword. It didn't look like a full gaffing stick.
It was
with a sword, so...
He had a bunch of sticks, but he started with that thing.
Yeah. Well, I think by the next episode, he's just going to get the stick, and you're going to probably find out how he finds...
He's going to sleep in the Bacta tank for the next episode. We're going to see him in episode 3.
If there's a full episode that's just flashbacks, I'm
No, he won't. They're not going to do that to us, but... It's still odd. It's odd and cool to me as a framing device, and like...
Yeah,
kind of like a step back from the the show a little bit, but he's super vulnerable in there. He's got 3 people guarding him right now, and a stupid ass droid,
And he's got the little
super
piggies.
Vulnerable right now. Super vulnerable. He was just threatened by the mayor of Tatooine.
Oh yeah,
his cohort, whatever. It's like, yeah, they'll be back. It's not going to be nice. I guarantee you that. They'll be back.
Oh yeah, the mayor. Because he literally said he's going to be back.
Yep.
So at one point he's going to be getting in a fight with the mayor, although he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
She said, "Should I kill him?" And he's like, "He works for the mayor." No. But yeah, again, we'll get involved with a lot of the politics of Tatooine, and things will probably eventually not work out. Well, things already aren't working out for Boba. He got, beaten by a rival crime lord, I think, because we don't know what instigated that fight between the samurai, not the samurais, like little ninjas.
That could have been the mayor's people that quick too, coming back to beat his ass. Who knows?
Yeah, it could have been.
It's like, oh yeah, go ahead and walk around your town, but. You're not going to pay the mayor. If you think you're on top, you are wrong. We're going to beat your ass in the middle of the city. Mm-hmm. But who knows? We don't know that yet.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Well, one element I really do like about this show is that, and I hope it sticks to this, there aren't any little kids that the character is trying to take care of. And hey, look, I love Baby Yoda or Grogu, whatever, tomato, but I'd like to see something beyond that sort of limited story between masters and apprentices and all that. And I just want to see a story about the criminal underworld. What the Mandalorian we thought was gonna be originally. And that's not a criticism of the show. It's just more or less like I just like to see something that isn't the same old stuff. And for that, yeah, we're just seeing more of not just the criminal underworld. We're seeing more of the Sand People. I know that in The Mandalorian, we saw that they weren't kind of like these mindless savages that we assume them to be. And in this movie, it kind of doubled down and made them like not like mindless savages again, but savages with minds, if that makes sense. Yeah. And I want to see where...
I did like a couple of the callbacks that they had. Like I'm pretty sure that was the surviving members from Jabba's palace playing the second song that they ever learned in their whole lives at the bar. And seeing a Trandoshan drop off a Wookiee pelt was dope.
Which part was that?
That was pretty. That was just a nice little that's some cool Star Wars stuff right there.
I'm trying to remember what part that was.
In the very beginning, he was getting his tributes, and the Trandoshan who used to be his boss came in, gave him a Wookiee pelt. It was a very small Wookiee, but there are no small Wookiees.
Yeah, and he used to work with the guy. Yeah,
worked for him. Yeah.
Yeah, worked for him. That was it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Boba's his boss. That was kind of nice.
It was
having Boba in all white when he's being, when he's stripped of the armor is kind of awesome because that's exactly how the character started. The prototype armor was just pure white.
Yeah, it was. They actually talked about that. Did you watch behind the scenes?
That was I watched that. It's like the Who is Boba Fett thing.
Yeah.
Like a little backstory.
That's
I knew that, but it's still that's kind of a nice little... Did they do that on purpose? Who knows?
I think so. Yeah.
Calls the dog mate, uses his own dialect on the TV show, which is awesome. No hard feelings, mate. Oh shit, dude, that's awesome. He's a New Zealander. Sweet.
He uses his own dialect, and I'm going to guess from the trailers at one point, when he's in those white garbs, he's going to just start murdering people. You can see why he's so vengeful was sort of the point I was trying to get to a while ago, which is, it's like he gets out of this, gets out of the Sarlacc pit, and the Sand People, they don't just openly welcome him. They beat the crap out of him. They basically torture him, which is why he refused to torture. What do you call the name of the pig species in Star Wars?
The Gamoran guards.
The Gamorreans, yeah. He refused to torture the Gamorreans because he's been tortured. But at the same time, it's at the same time, he carries sort of he's going to carry a lot of resentment and anger. He's going to slaughter Jawas. And I got to say, I think this episode has maybe officially, not like Jawas. They're assholes. This guy was burning to death. He needed help. He grabbed one of them, with his hand, just barely able to hold on. And what do? Did they help him? No, he hits him in the head with a stick, and then he just walks away. Yeah. I'm like, okay, yeah, you know what? Fuck Jawas. They deserve everything coming to them. They're little monsters.
They must not eat meat, or they had no use for them. Who knows what the Sand People, what the Tusken Raiders were going to do?
Well,
with him.
They would have done something if he didn't kill that Goro.
Because he's just out there to collect water for that? Makes no sense. What was the plan there? But yeah, Jawas have no use for human meat, which is, I guess that's good. They're either vegetarian or something.
I think in a way they were both testing him and also seeing if if Boba could be a useful slave. They're like, okay, let's see if you can survive this. This is why we're going to make you walk for miles and miles and miles in this desert heat. See if you're worthy of joining our clan. But you have to be strong to be worthy. And that's what he proved in the end. He took down this beast that they all have trouble killing.
And one thing that I'm kind of picking up from on this show, it's I know we have he's got 4 lines of dialogue, 7 minutes of screen time, blah, 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 but everybody's been talking about him for a million years. And, it just seems like this show is setting up that just the universe just wants to throw the fucking book at this dude. He just can't do anything right. Like, everything is going to go around him at all times, and he just has to fucking deal with it. That's kind of what I'm like feeling from this first episode.
Yeah,
it's
it seems like everyone just throws shit at him, and he just has to handle it.
Exactly. Like, shit's going to hit the fan, it's going to get nuts, and I just have to be here in the middle of it, and hopefully, literally burn and explode my way out and crawl the fuck out of the situation and mess I got myself into for a couple of credits. Not doing that again, but I will.
Well, I think that's how he learns how to become a good crime lord, is like he's learned from experience how not to fuck up,
Like, not only does he watch everybody else around him make dumbass mistakes because he's a badass, but when he sees himself make a dumbass mistake, he's like, I'm going to learn from that.
Mm-hmm. Don't ever help out near a sarlac pit. Just say no to the job. You don't need it. Yeah. But then again, I mean, don't have a jetpack near.
No, hell no.
I really thought he was going to use that jetpack to get out of the sarlac pit. Like, I always kept thinking, like, my dream, like, my idea for how Boba would get out of the sarlac would be, like, you just hear, like, some laser fire, and it's just a wide shot of a desert, and then you hear something, like, squeal and it's death, and then you see, like, a figure, like, fly up above the frame, and then right in front of the camera, 2 boots land, and then the camera dollies up, and it's Boba Fett.
Right.
Which would have been amazing. But, hey, again, I can't speak for the imagination of other people. And the imagination that they went with was him crawling out of the pit, being filled with acid and saliva, is a dynamic image itself as well.
Yep. Pretty much exactly how I pictured it the whole time. He starts with the flamethrower, throws a couple of grenades in there, throws his rocket in there, throws everything explosive that he has into the fire, and just takes the hit.
Yeah.
And then eventually broken and, extremely fucked up, which is why he couldn't stand at the end, forces his way and, like, climbs through the avalanche of sand, dirt, and sandworm poop.
Yeah, saliva and sand and whatever else that creature had in it, which we've never seen what the inside of a sarlacc looks like. And now, did they keep the tentacles on it from the special editions? I don't think I saw anything showing like the outside of it much.
No, they only had one. They had one tentacle. They had the one and only tentacle that came out of that thing in the movie.
Another subtle middle finger to George. Yeah,
more to like Lucasfilm as a company. It wasn't. I don't think it was his single. It was like, let's build this company. How can we do that? Oh, let's magic marker and shit. This movie that I made 20 years ago. Good idea, George. Let's go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this is a movie I always wanted to imagine.
The only one that benefited from that was Empire Strikes Back. The other ones were not beneficial at all. There was some cool stuff in Empire Strikes Back that was worth it.
Yeah. So far, I'd say it's a entertaining episode. I didn't love it, but I liked it quite a bit. But I'd like to see more, and that's always a good thing to give you more. Maybe see less of Boba getting his ass kicked. I've seen his ass kicked get enough now. Don't show me that again. We got it. He went through a lot of shit. Let's move on from here. Let's show why he's the Grand Lord. And not have random ninjas take him down.
Right. Let's see the flashback of him hunting down and killing Mace Windu. Bam! Why not? Keep him in that damn Bacta tank. Just make it a flashback series. Who cares? Let's roll with it. I don't even care, honestly. It's been 40 years. I just want to see this dude do stuff.
I think that's why it's called the Book of Boba Fett. It's his whole life going before his eyes while he's in the Bacta tank. I just hope that the show doesn't become structurally kind of uneven, where it's just flashback, present, flashback, present, and then it's like, okay, we just got to stick with one because this is going all over the place. But I'm hoping that
it'll turn into Family Guy if they do that.
Oh God!
Oh no! Don't go back to that time.
Remember, you think that's bad? Remember the time I had to crawl out of the sarlacc?
Unnecessary.
Yeah. God.
I mean,
I agree with South Park
on for a framing device, but I just hope they don't overuse it.
Yeah, because then it becomes more of a crutch than it is something that's useful.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see where it goes, and I just hope we don't get a Bad Batch situation, which I don't think they will get that. They're not using their B team; they're using their A team on this. And
they're not trying to push a video game with this series.
Oh, please do. I want an open world Star Wars video game where you go into different planets and collect bounties. That would be a great Star Wars game. You don't even have to be Boba Fett. You could be some other dude. Doesn't matter.
Skyrim / Fallout / Star Wars. Those game mechanics would work for a Star Wars. But still, like you'd never be able to build a world. You would never be able to build a universe big enough to satisfy like half of the Star Wars people out there. You need multiple planets, you need ships, you need multiple races. It's almost too big.
Well,
so everybody's freaking out. Everybody's freaking out about the KOTOR remake because it was perfect and whatever. But that was 15 years ago.
Yeah, then like remake will come out. Everyone will be like, "Why did they change this? Why did they change that?"
Hey, you remember when they remade Total Recall? That was awesome, wasn't it? Stop it.
With Colin Farrell.
With the damn remakes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that one. I remember not seeing it. I still haven't seen it. I'm like, that looks generic as hell. I'm not gonna fucking see that.
They don't even go to Mars.
What?
Exactly.
Did they save up Mars for the next film that never happened?
No, it's just it's all on Earth, and there's like, maybe I'm misremembering it, but there's like this shaft that connects. Oh my God, dude, don't watch it.
Nah,
I'm probably
never
misquoting it and misremembering a whole bunch of shit, but I don't even think they go to Mars. Somebody call Mike and tell him that I'm wrong.
I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't bother seeing it. I'm like, this looks really generic, and
don't.
And I mean, speaking of remakes and nostalgia, you know what might potentially win Best Picture, is the remake of West Side Story, which good remake, but Best Picture material? No, I don't think so. I disagree with a lot of critics on that. But I do have to agree that this is a good starting point, and I'm excited to see where Boba Fett's story goes from here. I'm glad that we're getting a show about a character. We're not just getting Boba Fett murder porn. I'm sure that'll come at one point, I hope, because I want it. But all we have to do is exercise our Jedi-like patience. And week by week, see what they bring us. Because we've been spoiled with Marvel. We've been given nothing but just knockout show after knockout show. I mean, even Hawkeye, that I guess not a lot of people have seen, I thought was a rather enjoyable show.
That was fun.
But yeah, with Star Wars and its potential and its reach, it's time to start expanding this universe, and I believe this is going to be the year they're going to start doing that. They never officially announced Kenobi's release date, right? Wondering
they will soon.
Yeah, well, that couldn't have anything to do with Boba Fett because Obi-Wan's dead at this point. But I'm going to guess these shows are going to start coming out pretty close to each other because Disney needs content out of the Marvel to produce.
They're most definitely not going to overlap. They're probably going to do the same thing that they did with this, going back to Mandalorian and start a new show or give you a new show once every, what was it, like 4 months ago? 4 to 6 months or so?
Yeah.
So twice a year we'll get some badass Star Wars content on the Disney Channel, which is, oh my God, I can't even believe I'm saying it. It's crazy.
I know.
That's what we're getting, badass Star Wars content.
Finally, And I'm glad to see something that's not about another Jedi, or because even the Mandalorian became about the Jedi at a certain point. I'm like, I'm tired about, like, the only Jedi I want to see is Mace Windu's head, like, rolling by Boba Fett's feet. And that's what I want to see. But, which maybe we'll see that. That would be like a great closer. And I certainly hope Boba Fett doesn't die by the end of this show. or at least
I
this
think
season.
he will. I think he will, and I think he will die on Tatooine.
No,
Lots of
I don't think they'll
foreshadowing.
kill him this season.
No, not the season, but I think he ends on Tatooine.
Oh, okay. Like, yeah, overall,
this
probably
planet-
at
this
the end, he
planet ends
dies as a criminal empire like Jabba did. Anyone
Yeah.
who gets involved with crime eventually dies. It's the classic tale, you know?
I mean, he's mortal. He's gonna die, but I'm pretty sure that Tatooine's gonna get him.
If Boba
Pretty
Fett
sure.
dies, I want him to go out like Tony Montana. I want him to just take out everyone while he's like coked out on death sticks, shooting everyone with like twin blasters like his dad. Well, maybe not the death sticks part. And maybe not him being coked out, because that's not his character. But maybe they push him to a certain point where he's just like, I can go nuts and I'm pissed off again and fuck all of you! Which would be pretty cool to see. Like, just Boba
No
Fett
disintegrations.
completely lose
Fuck
control.
you guys.
Yeah. That would be fun to see Boba Fett, who, as we could tell, he's a fairly controlled and measured character. But what's Boba like out of control?
Yeah.
Like, give me my murder porn. I want it.
You'll probably see that in flashback. That's not what this. The Boba Fett that came out of the Sarlacc pit is the new Boba Fett. That's the one that we're seeing now. But with the flashbacks, we might see what you're saying there. We might see him just like being, willy-nilly throughout the Star Wars universe, doing his thing, and is like, you know what, that shit like either caught up with me or like bad stuff happened around me. I'm gonna change after he climbs out of the Sarlacc pit. He's like, I'm gonna change a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. I'm guessing there's a Sarlacc
That's probably as
cancer in
close
him
to
that
death
he
that
needs
he's
to
ever
get out.
been. that he wants to be.
I bet he's got to get something out of him, like they had in some of the expanded graphic novels and such, that there's a piece of the Sarlacc that's like in him that he needs to get out, and that's why he's not so strong. Or maybe he just needs a few more minutes in that tank. Either way, I think we're going to get the Boba we all know and love, and they're not going to just emasculate him for this period of time. Like, he'll be back, and he'll be stronger than ever. Because I'm sure Robert Rodriguez knows, like, oh no, we're not going to just do that to Boba Fett. We're not going to just make him a weak little bitch. Like, we're gonna give you what you want, but we're not going to give it to you right away. Because you don't want to just show everyone all the cool shit right off the bat. And the nice thing is this show's taking its time establishing things while also not having like hour-long episodes that go nowhere. But then again, Star Wars always is about the action and moving the plot along. And, offering, and the thing I like about this show, I didn't think about it offers some depth, like you said to him. It's not just Boba Fett killing guys. It's about a man who suffered enormous amounts of torture and came out on the other end, and it's about what formed and shaped him. And that's interesting. That's an interesting place to go, whether you're a Star Wars fan or someone who knows nothing about it. And I'd like to see what non-Boba Fett fans think of this. But yeah, having said that, first episode of 6 down, 5 more to go. Certainly a lot less than the Bad Batch, which, wow, I'll tell you one thing. When they release a new season, I'll wait for the entire thing to come out so I can just stream it and just skip a bullshit episode if it's bullshit.
I mean, they're literally, that show is just to promote the video game.
It's just
That's all
it's
it
just a
is.
placeholder, is what it was.
It was fun for a little while at the end of the Clone Wars series. The very first episode of the Bad Batch is pretty good. It's some of the most fun that you're going to see with the new Star Wars era. But yeah, you just drag the story out and nothing happens for 8 episodes, and then half of something happens for 1 episode, and then a whole bunch of nothing.
And we'll see what happens with Boba's lineage in Camino, because I feel like he's gonna go back there at one point, either to cure himself from the Bacta, from the Sarlacc disease, or in a flashback that dates to him. Because we need to know, like, what is his relationship with the clones? We know he doesn't care about them, but like I'd like to see a lot of the stuff put in live action, because the whole point of Star Wars is that it amazes us with its effects and all that. And yeah, luckily a lot of the effects didn't look too fake. Even the big Goro monster looked pretty believable. So let's see some of that character development. Let's go to Kamino. Let's go to some other places. Right now we'll be in Tatooine probably for about, if I'm going to guess, 90% of the show, which I'm okay with. That's fine. But hopefully we go somewhere beyond that as well. But we'll see. It's all about patience, you know. It's just I just learned from Bad Batch. I had patience, and it was not rewarded. But I think here it will be, hopefully. Having said that, John, where can we find your stuff?
We're all over the place now. We got the Instagram, we got the Facebooks, we got a whole bunch of episodes up on Vimeo. It's Cinema Obscura, cinema with an S. Tons of indie film from filmmakers from all over the world doing stuff on no budget, low budget, or just good stuff.
Right.
We're everywhere.
And if you want to find my stuff, you can find me at ypareviews.com, or a lot of my biggest, most popular movies like Matrix and Spider-Man and all that. You can catch my reviews for those movies at 25yearslatersite.com. And we will catch you again next week, probably the same time unless things change and I have to change the time of the